Wow, we welcome those of you joining us from A&M and Auburn. What a crazy start to this important Big 12 game. Arizona on the road playing in Ames against the Cyclones of Iowa State. And immediately
by the kicking team, first down, Iowa State.
On the kickoff, Iowa State won the toss, deferred, so they kicked it deep to the Wildcats. And the running back Ismail Mahdi was the return man for Arizona. Coughed it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's definitely going to go to the replay booth. What a devastating start for the Arizona Wildcats. If this is.
And leading the replay crew right away are going to be challenged to determine, was that elbow down with possession of the ball? If so, then I think he's down. Determination. Let's get a very big call.
After further review, the runner was down at the 22-yard line before the ball came loose. It's first down Arizona at the 22.
I don't disagree. I think that's a really good call by the officials. We mentioned it. It was super close.
A down year. Mahdi, who fumbled the kickoff, is on the field alongside the very experienced and talented Noah Fifita, the Arizona quarterback. So the Wildcats dodged that bullet to start this game. Both teams coming off an off week. Iowa State with their crazy travel in the early season. Handoff and a run straight ahead, and a nice first down gain by Mahdi. Noah Fifita is one of the more experienced quarterbacks in the country. 2 years ago, Brock, you and I thought this guy's an emerging star, and last year really struggled. This year getting back to that higher level.
Yeah, he really burst onto the scene in 23, led the Wildcats to a 10-win season, set multiple school records. Bit of a down year last year, but he's off to a great start here in the 25 campaign.
Against a tough Iowa State defense. The first pass for Fifita is caught by Carson Hansen out along the right sideline, and enough to get a first down.
And for Wildcat fans, I think a huge reason for optimism, and I thought this was really interesting when we talked to Noah Fifita this week. He said, Brock, this is the most comfortable I've ever been in any system, even going all the way back to high school. So with the arrival of new offensive coordinator Seth Doege, I am very anxious to see how Fifita and Doege go to work together.
50 career touchdown passes for Fifita. On first down, Mahdi is going to get the carry and turn it around the left corner. He gets to that corner to midfield along the far sideline and finally pushed out of bounds in Iowa State territory. Ismail Mahdi, after the would-be fumble on the opening kickoff, he looks good.
Keep an eye on big 71. That's Bounds, the right tackle, does an excellent job on the counter play of pull-in and creating a huge outside hole for Mahdi. Mahdi coming off a monster game 2 weeks ago with Kansas State, picking up right where he left off.
Guy's got an amazing story in college football. 22-yard run. Arizona on the move to start this game. Fifita rolling right's going to check it down short right to Mahdi, who lowers those shoulder pads and gets ahead to the 40 for a gain of 4.
Arizona had a chance to push the football down the field. Noah Fifita didn't like the look, though. And this is something that you're going to see Seth Doege do with him often tonight. Get him outside the pocket. Noah Fifita, not the best athlete in the world, but he can hurt you with his legs.
Handoff Mahdi, and he gets stopped well short of a first down. Marcus Neal came up from that star position, gain of 2. So a third down for the Wildcats here on their opening drive of this game.
And this is where Noah Fifita needs to be smart here. It's third and medium, but you're now in field goal range. You have a field goal kicker with Salgado Medina that has a monster leg. So whatever you do here on third down, you can't take a negative play.
I mean, it may not be the 100,000 whiteout from Happy Valley tonight, but this is 60,000 plus making a lot of noise in Ames. Fifita, pressure comes, gets rid of it, and that pass completed. Open field tackle, but that should be enough for an Arizona first down. That's Javen Watley.
And that's why Noah Fifita is so good. He's a 3-year starter. He's seen all these looks. So Iowa State, they're going to show 7 at the line of scrimmage and bring pressure. Fifita stays cool as a cucumber, cool customer in the pocket, gets that football out to the outside to Watley. And Watley did an excellent job of winning his one-on-one matchup in man coverage.
So now Quincy Craig, the second running back for Arizona. He'll motion out of the backfield on 1st and 10. The throw. And that one's caught inside the 30, down to about the 27. Sam Olsen. Tight ends will be way more involved when Iowa State has the ball. But Sam Olsen's probably their top pass-catching tight end for the Wildcats. That's a gain of 5.
Yeah, really dynamic player for the Wildcats. Not the biggest tight end at 6'3", 229 pounds. He's excellent in the pass game. He's coming along as a run blocker and helping out in protection areas. But he's definitely a matchup to keep an eye on as the night unfolds.
And I called Olsen their top guy. He usually is. That was Burnett. Now a little misdirection. The pitch back to Hudson, and a good open field tackle made by Trey Bell, who's getting the start tonight in place of the injured Jeremiah Cooper, and that was a good tackle.
It's a great tackle, and with Jeremiah Cooper out of the lineup, that's a huge blow to this Iowa State defense. Cooper is a multi-time all-conference defensive back, so Trey Bell has huge shoes to fill tonight.
Good start for him. Now another third down for Arizona. Last time Iowa State brought pressure. This time they rush 4. Fifita in trouble, stays on balance, heaves it up, and out of bounds. So he avoids the sack, avoided the big negative play, and gives Arizona a chance to kick a field goal.
Well, this is going to be a matchup that's going to take place all night. Arizona is starting 2 somewhat inexperienced offensive tackles. So how do they match up against this Iowa State defensive line? And that time, the Cyclones come away with the win. Fifita did an excellent job of keeping the field position, getting the football tossed away, and giving his kicker an opportunity to get the first points of the night.
And you see those numbers. Michael Salgado Medina, who's got a big-time leg, has been inconsistent. From 46 yards, the hold. That kick is drifting, and it is no good. A good drive from Arizona, but another missed field goal for their special teams. That's becoming an issue. Iowa State holds.
Really good start to Arizona's drive. Unfortunately, a bad snap leads to an errant kick. Great job of Iowa State holding.
Here in a sellout crowd. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonatoni with us as well. We know there's a lot of great college football going around the country right now, Brock. But this is a really important and interesting game in Ames.
It's a massive game. When you look at the Big 12 a season ago, it came down to the final week who was going to play in Arlington for the conference championship. So both of these teams have aspirations to get to Arlington. Tonight is huge for both programs.
First play from scrimmage for Iowa State. Only looked like they had 8 tight ends on the field. Carson Hansen got the pitch, and there is the junior quarterback Rocco Becht, who is just so experienced and savvy, has won a ton of games with Matt Campbell as his head coach. Quick hitter out to Hansen, who touches it for the 2nd straight play, and immediately a 3rd down coming up.
Rocco Becht, just a pillar of consistency. He's a quarterback that I don't believe truly gets the love and attention he deserves on the national stage. Since he became a starter 3 years ago, all this man has done is win football games. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards in consecutive seasons, played for a conference title a season ago, and he's an excellent quarterback.
If you need a drive late in a game, he might be your guy. Of everybody in college football, he has had so many instances of that. On 3rd down, what a hit. He completed the pass. That looked like it was going to be a for sure 1st down, but Trayton Stukes was there, and the tackle, I think he's about a half a yard short. Right away, Iowa State's going to be tested.
What a great job by Trayton Stukes diagnosing what Iowa State was trying to do, driving on that football. Looks like it's going to be 1st down Cyclones after all.
Oh, okay. Well, they initially ruled that short. Brett Eskildsen with the catch, but they give Iowa State the 1st down. That makes it a little less stressful for their head coach. First drive of the game for Iowa State. Arizona had the ball for 10 plays to start the game. Got all the way down deep into Iowa State territory. Missed on 3rd down. Missed a field goal with a shaky snap. Handoff, and right away tackled in the backfield for a loss on the play of 3. Dominic Lolesio has been playing at a high level. Arizona defense looks like a very improved unit this year.
Yeah, they've been a stout, and look right here on the edge, just unblocked right off the line of scrimmage. Iowa State is going to need to take in those defensive linemen in account. Can't go backwards, but you were just saying it, Flem. This Arizona defense through the first 3 games of the year looks like a completely different unit than a season ago. They are tops in the country in numerous categories right now.
I know Kansas State's not playing at a super high level, but they suffocated the Kansas State offense a week ago. That pass complete to Xavier Townsend across the middle, stopped about 3 yards short.
And for Arizona, it's just not the Kansas State game 2 weeks ago before the bye. They have back-to-back games where they have held quarterbacks to under 100 passing yards. The last time an Arizona defense did that, you have to go back to the mid-90s and the Desert Storm days. So what a measuring stick type of game. Now your defense, who you think is so much better, tougher than a season ago, now you're going against Rocco Becht.
3rd down and 3 for Iowa State with Hansen in the backfield. Already you're seeing the good tackling. Our defensive coordinator Danny Gonzalez said, man, we've really been a great tackling team. Hansen took the pitch. Nice cut upfield, 1st down and more into Arizona territory, down to the Wildcats 47.
Just a little speed option, and you're working off a defensive end. You're going to see number 3 right there, Smith. And Rocco Becht is just reading him, and as soon as Smith caves down to the inside, that's an easy read and pitch to Hansen, and a great job by this Cyclones offense of picking up a fresh set of downs.
Carson Hansen, the junior from Lakeville, Minnesota, touching the ball a lot on this first drive, and they'll give it to Hansen. Straight ahead run on 1st down, and he falls forward inside the 45. They have 2 backs they really like. Carson Hansen, who last game at Arkansas State, first career 100-yard game. Part of the story of this Iowa State season is they took a road game at Arkansas State after going to Ireland to start their season. Kind of a wild beginning to the year travel-wise for the Cyclones. Got a bye week to rest and freshen up and practice at home, and now they get a home game under the lights. Play fake on 2nd down. Becht going down the right sideline. And that pass is caught. Touchdown. Chase Sowell. And an absolutely perfect delivery. 44 yards for the first points of the night. Sure, they're checking to see if he actually made it in the end zone. That's close, real close.
It's right there at the goal line. You know this is going to review.
Previous play is under further review. The one on the field is a touchdown.
Sowell make a big play.
After review, the receiver was down at the 1-yard line. It will be 1st and goal from that spot.
We were talking about the throw. Beautiful throw.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the best attributes about Rocco Becht is it's his accuracy, and specifically his deep ball accuracy. You see it, the receiver didn't break stride. The football is exactly where you want it placed. And this is why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Iowa State, a lot of talk about the receivers. They graduated a couple guys to the NFL as high draft picks. And part of the reason why there's been anxiety about that around here, it's like, hey, we have this quarterback. We got to take advantage of him. 1st and goal. Hansen leaves the backfield. Becht under center is going to sneak it for the touchdown. Well, his touchdown throw got taken off the board, so he adds a rushing touchdown to his stat column. 9 plays, 72 yards after the missed field goal, with the extra point coming. And the kicking game could be a story for the Cyclones. Their top 2 kickers are unavailable tonight. Chase Smith, a true freshman who came to Iowa State as a walk-on, he's going to be the primary place kicker. And they're not kicking it. They're going to go for 2, and they pitched it to Gabe Burkle, the tight end. It was Major Cantrell, who is the 3rd-string quarterback, not the kicker, who was out there on the field. He took the snap, pitched it to the tight end, and they get 2 points out of it.
How about that? You're down 2 kickers. Let's go to the bag of tricks. A little bit of trickery to get the 2-point play, but it was all set up by the big pass by Rocco Becht down the field to his transfer wide receiver, Chase Sowell. And then behind his big offensive lineman, Boniface and Black, punches it in on the quarterback sneak, and Iowa State takes the early lead 8-0 here in Ames.
to Ismail Mahdi, who fumbled almost the opening kickoff, got reversed by replay. He was down, takes this one back to about the 21-yard line. That's where the Arizona Wildcats offense will take over. Well, your All-American kicker is out. Why not go for Dos? Brought to you by Dos Equis. Who knows? Maybe Iowa State's just going to do this a lot.
Listen, this is just a situation where Iowa State is prepared to kick a field goal if they need to, but the look that Arizona gives them, it's just a numbers game. You can clearly see it. Iowa State has the numbers to throw this football out there. And that's just an easy 2 points for the Cyclones.
And you saw the kicker was on the field.
Correct.
He ended up motioning way out to the right side of the formation.
If Arizona would have adjusted more men over to that right side, Iowa State would have ended up kicking the extra point.
Instead, Fifita and the Arizona offense, they moved the ball impressively first time they had it. Mahdi takes a handoff and maybe went the wrong way. Cooper Ebel was right there to make the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Ebel, somebody who's just been making plays since he stepped foot on the field a season ago for this Cyclones defense. Really good linebacker out of Hartley, Iowa, 6'4", 235 pounds, super active, very cerebral, smart player playing that middle linebacker position.
You see him getting his teammates organized for 2nd down and 9. 5 receivers. Fifita alone in the backfield. Pressure comes. Fifita got rid of it quickly. A pass complete to Chris Hunter. Good tackle outside the 25. If Hunter could have slipped that tackle, that had a chance to be a big gain. Instead, it's just 4.
Great job by Noah Fifita recognizing Iowa State bringing pressure, throwing into that pressure, getting the ball out before the rush gets to him to keep it 3rd and manageable.
Crowd noise is going to be a factor tonight.
It's going to be a huge factor, and so are the offensive tackles for the Arizona Wildcats. These are first-time starters this season. How do they hold up against this Iowa State defense here on 3rd down?
3rd down and a long 5. Fifita throws. That one is caught, but another good tackle. This was Gio Richardson. Once again, Jamison Patton, 2 plays in a row, getting the receiver to the ground, and it's 4th down. Arizona's going to punt the ball away.
That is a really, really nice job by this Iowa State defense, led by John Haycock. It's man coverage here, and that's just a great open field tackle by Jamison Patton. If he doesn't make that tackle, Arizona's going to be able to slip free for the 1st down. Instead, they force the 3 and out and get the football back to Rocco Becht.
So the punt team out there for Arizona, that is not a beautiful punt. And racing up to fair catch it at the 35-yard line, just 35 yards. Wow, thank you, Matt. We sure know how wild it can be in Starkville. We were there when Matt Berry's Sun Devils went down to Mississippi State earlier this year. They stormed the field and tore down the goalposts. They might do it again tonight as the Iowa State offense gets the ball back after forcing the 3 and out. Hansen with the carry. Their offensive coordinator Taylor Moss are really excited about the potential of this offense. Young guy, 2nd year as a coordinator. Matt Campbell says he's doing a great job.
He's done an excellent job since taking over the coordinating position a season ago. Helped with that 11-win season that competed for a conference title. But I love the pressure that he puts on a defense with all the different personnel groupings he will use throughout a football game.
Iowa State coming off maybe the best year they've ever had. That one right through the hands of Eskildsen, the receiver. That was dangerous. Could have been a deflection and an interception. Instead, it's just an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that's a ball Eskildsen needs to bring in. Rocco Becht is right on the money. First incompletion of the night, putting it right where he needs it for his wide receiver.
He was a perfect 4 for 4 on their opening drive that got them into the end zone. And then the 2-point conversion. Hansen motions in the backfield on 3rd and 5.
Keep an eye at the bottom of your screen right here. Trey Smith for Arizona. He needs to make an impact on the game. Senior edge player, 6'5", 260 pounds.
Trying to rush the passer here. And he helped collapse the pocket. Becht took a hit, got it off to Hansen. And what a tough run by Hansen, who was contacted well before the line to gain, but he gets the 1st down.
I'll tell you what, there is nothing flashy about Carson Hansen, but this guy is an excellent big-time football player at 6'2", 220 pounds. He's a thumper. He's tough to bring down, and you can see the physicality that he brings when the football's in his hands.
He just shoved the linebacker Tay Brown aside. He gets the ball again here. It's been the Hansen game to a large degree in this first quarter. A gain of 8.
He plays with so much physicality. When you're on the defensive side of the ball going against Carson Hansen, you have to make some serious business decisions all night long with how you want to tackle this guy. This guy's a big-time football player.
He comes out of the game, at least for one play. Abu Sama, who's a dynamic presence himself in the backfield, is out there. On 2nd down and 2. It gets very quiet here when Iowa State has the ball. They're polite to their offense. Sama tries to change direction, gets stacked up, and I think he got stopped a yard short. Eli Green.
Sama, the Cyclone ball carrier.
You know what, Flem, we call that educated fans. When they're loud and at full throat when the home team's on defense, but when the quarterback and the offense is out there trying to go to work, they know to quiet down. That is a good, educated fan base.
So 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. 3rd and 1 for Iowa State. Probably the part of the field where they're going to try twice. They'll give it, and that one's going backwards. Wow, was that defended well. Townsend coming around. Did the ball come out? Well, he definitely did not get the first down. Max Harris, it almost looked like he came away with the football. The officials are talking about whether that was a fumble or not.
I think it was out, Flem. I think it's out. I think this is Arizona football.
Wow. Just as I was saying, well, they got 2 plays to get a half yard, almost like a gimme with Iowa State. They may have turned it over.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
Arizona comes up with the turnover. Well, that was unusual, almost like a jet sweep on 3rd down and a half a yard. Had the one look that was really good. This is the one.
Here we go. Keep an eye on that left knee.
Does he still have possession of the ball? Looks to me like he does.
After further review, the runner's knee was down at the 45.5-yard line. It will be 4th down from that spot.
It's had a 3 and out. You know, play the long game here.
Arizona return man. That's Patterson inside the 10. Makes a fair catch around the 7. Iowa State's defense back on the field. How about a look at our playbook brought to you by Modelo?
Yeah, let's get into this 3-3-5 defense led by John Haycock. I want to show you why it's so difficult. This is a 3-man rush. You have 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. Look at all of that space out there that is covered by Iowa State. There's a lid on the top of the defense. There's bodies everywhere. Yes, there's a completion, but boy, did Avery Johnson have to work for it. And then this is the same 3rd down distance later in the game. You get man coverage up top, zone down below, and you get a 6-man pressure by the front. When you play a 3-3-5 defense, there's just so many different variations that you can throw at a quarterback and an offensive line that makes their night a nightmare.
Fifita will hand it off, and a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Marcus Neal in there to wrestle Craig to the turf. A loss of 2. I mean, John Haycock has been the longtime defensive coordinator under Matt Campbell. I don't want to oversell it, but the defense that he and Matt and the whole staff here came up with now almost a decade ago, in some ways has revolutionized college football.
It really has. They've been one of the most consistent defenses in all the Big 12, and you got to think John Haycock, he has been with Matt Campbell since day 1, and they have been doing this season in, season out, going all the way back to 2016.
I mean, you think back a decade ago in this conference, quarterbacks were just lighting it up, points everywhere. 2nd and long, Fifita from the end zone going deep, and a jump ball incomplete. Contested catch attempted by Chris Hunter. Jamison Patton has been everywhere in this first quarter. He was there to knock it away.
That was a great play by Jamison Patton. You're all over it, Flem. He's having an excellent first quarter. Times this well, gets a hand up, and just enough to cause a 3rd and long here for the Arizona Wildcats backed up. Fifita needs to be smart with the football here. You're backed up. Don't make any silly decisions with the ball.
Final seconds of the first quarter. He'll swing it out to Craig, who could not get a block, and just too many Iowa State defenders there. Shoved out of bounds around the 10. Cooper Ebel and friends. And Arizona comes up well short. Fourth down. They're going to have to punt the ball right back.
And that is exactly why Matt Campbell punted the football deep rather than going for it on fourth down. He trusts John Haycock and his defense to get a stop and then give his offense a short field here to start the second quarter.
That's kind of how they play it here. Now a timeout. Matt Campbell uses a timeout to stop the clock.
Timeout, Iowa State.
Isaac Lovison is the punter. Townsend set to return, and he will get drilled. Oh my goodness, that's got to be a penalty. Man, that is a dangerous, scary play. 42-yard punt, and I can understand why Iowa State players would be unhappy with that. Townsend pops up. That is no good. That's a penalty and then some. Dalton Johnson on special teams was the guy who put that hit on.
To keep team captain, star player in the secondary for Arizona.
They're talking about this one. Makes you wonder, is there a potential? There's a couple different things. They could be talking about targeting. They could be talking about whether he got shoved into the returner.
There is a late shove by a Cyclone. We'll show you the clip when we can.
The fans here are unhappy, but it could be that a block by an Iowa State player from behind might have caused that violent collision.
Kick catch, interference, kicking team, number 43, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So a 15-yard penalty. Aiden Flora, I think, was the guy who might have shoved from behind. That's definitely what Brent Brennan is arguing. He's unhappy.
Yeah, and you're going to see it right here. 21 right on the right side of your screen. You can see the shove that he gives to Johnson. It's light, but you can clearly see it. And the officials chose to disregard that. Would love to ask Jerry, our rules analyst.
He's here with us. Jerry, what do you think about that play?
I tell you, you do have to look at that shove because the runner is coming down hard, and 21 just has to give a little push, and 43 cannot do anything but just go forward. It's a tough hit, but I think 21 added to the hit. Should pick the flag up.
That definitely could have been a penalty that was waved off because of that. Iowa State in Arizona territory. Handoff on what will be the final play of the first quarter, with some craziness here in Ames through all of it. Just 8 points on the board.
This is the end of the first quarter.
As the clock goes to 0. On a whiteout night with a sellout crowd, an undefeated top 15 Iowa State team. And the pass from their experience and ultra-talented quarterback Rocco Becht set up the only touchdown of quarter number 1.
And then we need to get some momentum with our offensive football team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Stormy, as Rocco Becht, first play of the second quarter, into double coverage. And a penalty flag comes out, trying to hit Carson Brown. Michael Dansby and another Arizona defender were both there. I am imagining that's going to be against the Wildcats.
Yeah, I think so. That was quite a bit of hand contact by Dansby down the field.
Defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty and automatic. First down.
Here you see 25, Dansby doesn't get his head around and is making some good contact with that left hand.
Correction, the number was 25.
Yeah, 10 was the receiver. 25 was the guy we were talking about. So a penalty against Arizona means Iowa State up 8-0. First seconds of the second quarter is inside the Wildcats' 25-yard line.
Arizona doing anything they can to get Rocco Becht out of rhythm. You've seen pressure multiple snaps.
He completes it short. inside the 20. Not a big game. Eskildsen with the catch for 4 yards.
And that's what Rocco Becht will do. If you don't bring pressure, you saw 2 plays ago, Arizona brings pressure. Yes, he got the penalty, but the football was underthrown. Okay, so then that last play, Arizona goes back to his zone defense. They only rush 4. But Rocco Becht, he's going to make quick decision. He's accurate. He's going to get that football out of his hand. You have to have a good mix. You have to keep him guessing what's coming next. I expect a good dose of pressure from Arizona.
He's under center here, and he'll hand it off Hansen, who had a big first quarter, straight ahead inside the 15 and close. Stop maybe a yard short. Well, Carson Hansen, he's been active in this game. 8 carries already. Plus, he's got 2 catches out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's such a great all-around running back, whether you're trying to use him in the pass game or run game, and just his sheer size alone, such an advantage. Iowa State really controlling the line of scrimmage. I expect them to run the football here on 3rd and short.
They bring all those tight ends back close to the ball and hand it off, and then Becht gives Hansen a shove. Wow, that was, you don't see Hansen got a shove from Rocco Becht. And that's a first down and more.
What a fantastic job by the left side of the offensive line, and your tight end 84, Gabe Burkle, just completely washed down that Arizona defensive front. And that's what I'm saying. Iowa State is controlling the line of scrimmage.
Hansen again down to the 1. The 2nd and goal coming up. It was almost like Rocco Becht was saying, here's the hole. Go to that one.
Yeah, he saw it. He wanted to help his back out. I don't think he needed the help. But until Arizona can get this Iowa State offense off schedule, somehow you have to win the line of scrimmage. You got to get Rocco Becht off of his spot. The Cyclones are fully in control of this football game right now.
Yeah, this Arizona defense, which has been so stingy, getting dominated at the moment. Hansen, carry left side, touchdown. Brent Brennan said we need to stop. They did not get that. There was very little resistance on that quick, short drive from the Cyclones. Impressive.
Just excellent complementary football. If you think back a couple series ago, Matt Campbell, instead of going for it on 4th down at midfield, punts the ball deep. What's your defense do? 3 and out. Get you a short field. And then the offense and the offensive line really taking control of this football game. Punches in another touchdown. Excellent complementary football by the Cyclones.
Looks like they are going to kick it this time with Chase Smith, and his point after try is up and good. But it's a good point you made. The penalty on special teams, then the pass interference penalty, and domination at the line of scrimmage for Iowa State on a whiteout night in Ames. All right, Matt, as this kickoff will bounce and go into the end zone for a touchback. Arizona gets the ball back here. I think that's an upset, but I don't know if anybody's really that shocked by that.
Yeah, to me it says more almost by Ole Miss, right? And how impressive of a win that is for them to get early on in the season.
Arizona needs to move the ball on offense. Fifita finds his tight end. That's Sam Olsen. And he'll get across the 30, out close to the 33, a gain of 7 on 1st down.
Sowell gets the ball quickly out of his hand.
And you see that graphic there, 8 completions to 8 different receivers. That's a 1st down run.
Out pressure. There's a lot on Noah Fifita's plate tonight.
1st down, Arizona. A little fake handoff, and then he throws one behind Chris Hudson. Incomplete. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, Dave, you talk about what this Iowa State defense has done, and one of their leaders on that side of the ball, Jontez Williams, was very active on the sideline before coming out there. He said, no hope. Give them no hope. Keep doing what you do. Take away that will. And obviously very pleased with what they've done to this point, but something to keep an eye on as well. Tyler Miller, Iowa State starting right tackle, just went into the medical tent a moment ago dealing with the left shoulder, so something to keep an eye on there as well.
Okay, so when Iowa State gets the ball back, that would be a big loss for them. They have dominated the line of scrimmage so far in this game. Fifita's got time to throw, and incomplete. His receiver got tangled up there, Chris Hunter. Maybe he was going to break open for a catch. Instead, it's 3rd and 10.
Well, there was just nowhere to go for Hunter when he was coming out of his break, and Arizona wide receiver on the outside falls down. He literally has to hurdle over him. Just a miscue by this Arizona offense, and now they find themselves in 3rd and long. and what's really become a drive that you almost feel like early in the ball game, it's a gotta-have-it moment.
There's a long way to go in this game, but Arizona is in trouble. 3rd and 10. Shotgun snap, just a 4-man pressure. Fifita across the middle, and it's incomplete. There were 2 different receivers. Initially, I couldn't tell, was it for Hudson or the deeper guy, Luke Weissong? It kind of bounced in between them.
You know, Flem, I'm confused. The football went right in between the 2 wide receivers. Fifita, you have to give credit to his offensive line. They built a great pocket for him, but just nowhere to push the football down the field. A slightly errant throw, but give a lot of credit to this Iowa State defense. They're stingy, they're tough, and they're just not giving up big plays right now.
That was sort of Stormy's point. The words from the Iowa State defender, don't give him any hope. I think sometimes for a quarterback against this defense, it feels like that. Like, where am I supposed to go with the ball? Punt return for Townsend, who made some nifty moves, but really didn't get a whole lot of real estate. The Saguaro Cactus here in Ames. Couldn't find one. The last time these 2 teams met as conference opponents or anything, they weren't conference opponents all the way back in September of 1968. Mickey Mantle hit his last career home run. Hey Jude was the #1 song in the world on September 28th. The last meeting between these 2 programs, it's been a long time, and now they're going to be, maybe not every single year, but regularly as members of the Big 12.
Big 12 has officially become a nationwide conference, East Coast all the way to the West Coast.
Tucson and Ames are 2 pretty different places.
Yes, they are.
They don't have a whole lot in common geographically. Iowa State jumped off sides there.
Offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
False start against James Neal. Tyler Miller, we heard from Stormy a moment ago, the right tackle was in the injury tent. He is on the field. So Tyler Miller is in the game for a Cyclones offensive line that in a lot of ways has controlled this game so far.
Oh, and that's huge for Iowa State. That's somebody that is making his 32nd career start. He is the captain of those 5 offensive linemen up front.
Carson Hansen, another carry for him, just 2 yards. That's his 12th rush of the game. There's big number 66, Tyler Miller.
Has the longest active start streak for Big 12 offensive linemen at 32.
6'9", 335.
Mountain of a man.
From Scranton, Iowa. Not that close to Tucson. 2nd down and 13. Becht in the shotgun, checks down after looking left, came back middle to Ben Brahmer, the tight end, and that's a short gain. So the Arizona defense has a good opportunity here.
I was just going to say, this is a huge moment here in the first half for this Arizona defense. You have Iowa State backed up. It's a 3rd and long situation. Whatever you do, you just have to find a way to get off the field and give your quarterback Noah Fifita some field position. All night long, Noah Fifita has had to drive the entire length of the field just to try to get into scoring position. Huge opportunity for the Wildcats.
Saw a quick shot of Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coordinator for Arizona. On 3rd down and long. Back to over the top right sideline. And a jump attempt. And a catch. What a play. Jay Sowell, he's made the 2 big plays in the pass game for Iowa State, a gain of 32.
I don't understand this call by defensive coordinator Danny Gonzalez. Why would you play man-to-man coverage in a 3rd and long situation? Rocco Becht does an excellent job of recognizing that and taking advantage.
Man, they got burned there. Now they try to play fake on 1st down, and the pass knocked away by Genesis Smith. That's a huge play in this game.
It is, and I just think in those situations as a defensive coordinator, you play zone coverage, you rush 3 or 4, and you keep the offensive players in front of you. You rally to a tackle and get off the field. They elect to play man coverage, and Rocco Becht is too experienced and good of a quarterback. He's going to make you pay.
It just felt like Becht, as soon as he saw that, knew exactly where he wanted to go with the ball.
I guarantee you he was smiling ear to ear pre-snap when he saw man coverage with one of his fastest wide receivers.
Another play fake and a ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Stooks, I think, who got a hand on the ball. So there's Danny Gonzalez. You get another 3rd and long here, different field position. The guy's got a great pedigree as a defensive coach. Learned under Rocky Long for a long time in that San Diego State defensive system.
Former head coach at New Mexico. He's been around a long time, calling some really great defense. We'll see if he can help his Wildcat defense here get off the field on 3rd down.
It was 3rd and 12 when they converted a couple plays ago. Now it's 3rd and 10. Play clock winding down. But they get it snapped with 1 on the play clock. Becht is pressured and he goes down. Well, Arizona gets there, and Riley Wilson, who's back on the field. He's missed a lot of time this season. They're happy to have him back. He got in there for the sack.
You're going to see a little TE stunt, and that's exactly what frees him up to go make this critical play here on 3rd down. That's exactly what the Arizona defense needed. Great play call by Danny Gonzalez to get this football back to his offense.
That has to make them feel a lot better after that big pass play on 3rd and long from deep in Iowa State territory. Patterson standing back at his own 25-yard line. Tyler Perkins will punt the ball away. And Patterson gets out of the way. It takes a big Iowa State bounce, and that matters a lot for field position. Inside the 15.
He's currently at 59% on this season, so can he get that up with Seth Dagey calling plays?
Kind of the air raid style system. Mahdi, the tailback, gets the carry. Big hole straight up the middle outside the 30, and some good breathing room for an Arizona offense that wants to go a little faster tempo, gain of 18.
Great job by that Arizona offensive line. All you have to do with Mahdi is just give him a little glimmer of a hole, and he's going to find a way to burst through at excellent speed. Great pickup there on 1st down for the Wildcats.
Well, Mahdi, who seems to be emerging as the guy in the Arizona backfield. Transfer, spent last year at Texas State. Play fake. All kinds of time. Fifita just looking for somewhere to go with the ball. Now he's going to scramble, and he'll take a hit and go down. He did get some positive yardage, 3, maybe 4 yards on the quarterback carry.
You know, Mahdi, he's such a great addition to this Arizona offense, coming over from Texas State, where he's a 2-time first-team All-Sun Belt player. 2 seasons ago, led college football in all-purpose yards with over 2,000 yards. I mean, this guy's a big-time football player that already has an accomplished college career. Huge addition for the Wildcats.
You even rewind before Texas State, you saw in that graphic at the FCS level, he won that Jerry Rice Award. You look at the list of Jerry Rice Award winners, top freshmen at the FCS level, a lot of good players who've gone on to great careers at this level and beyond. Mahdi out to the 40, so he gets 5 more on the ground to set up 3rd down and short.
Well, and that's what I love most about him. Right there on 2nd down, there was no really hole for him to go, but just because of his size, patience, and vision, he finds a way to make this 3rd and short.
Fifita sends him out of the backfield, out to the left side of the formation. Fifita's going to run the ball, got stacked up, and it's going to depend on the spot. And they'll say he got the 1st down.
Some good hard running by Fifita. And talking with Seth Dagey, his offensive coordinator this week, he said that this is something he wants to see more out of Noah Fifita. He wants him using his legs. Obviously, this is a designed quarterback run, but he really believes that the legs of Noah Fifita can be a big-time strength of his game.
They've encouraged him to run a little bit more this year. Play fake on 1st down. Fifita throws this one, and it's completed out near midfield. Wow, they spotted him way back at the 47-yard line. Javen Watley with the catch.
Great job by Fifita, staying calm in the pocket. There was a little bit of pressure. Finds the soft spot in the zone defense.
Look at those 4 receivers all out on the left side. Fifita's going to run on the right side. Kind of ducked under the would-be tackler of Patton, and I think that's enough for another Arizona 1st down. Move the chains. Arizona going quick. Let's quickly go down to Stormy.
Well, you guys mentioned the relationship that Noah Fifita has with Seth Dagey. When I asked Fifita about Dagey asking him to use his legs more and run, how did he feel about it? He said, I will follow Coach Dagey to the end of the earth. He asked me to do something. I trust he's putting me in a good situation.
says everything. I think they have a really special relationship. I know when I saw the hire of Seth Agee in the offseason, I just thought from his time in the air raid system at Texas Tech, the time that he spent with Lane Kiffin, he had a chance to create a really great relationship with Noah Fifita.
You know, Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin, that's two pretty good offensive minds. Intercepted! Fifita just never saw Jontez Williams, who's taking it back the other way across midfield. Makes a move and finally goes out of bounds in Arizona territory. Wildcats moving the ball. Fifita turns it over, and the Cyclones defense strikes again.
One of the hardest things for a quarterback is when you turn your back on play action, is you always have to find the backside corner in a zone defense. What does he do? Keep an eye on Williams on the bottom of your screen. Fifita goes play action, has to turn his back to the defense. He thinks he has a wide open crossing route, but he never looked up the backside corner that was playing a zone defense. That is an excellent play by Jontez Williams, who has been a multi-time all-conference corner here in the Big 12.
He's the guy that Stormy heard on the sideline saying, let's not give him any hope in this game. That's one way to take hope away. I think Fifita's going to look at that tablet and see exactly what you just talked about.
What a play by Williams. Just when Arizona, they feel like they're getting back in the ball game, they have some momentum, they're doing a great job with run and pass in this balanced attack. Fifita makes a mistake and Williams makes him pay.
And what a return too. They got 42 yards on that return. So almost flipped the field, not just with the turnover, but the return yardage. Huge. Right side run and nowhere to go. Abu Sama got stopped for a loss of a yard, maybe two.
And now the question is, can this Arizona defense bow up on sudden change and force, you know, this Iowa State team into a field goal situation? You have to remember, as this clock winds down inside of 4 minutes, when you start talking the middle late, the final 4 of the second quarter and the first 4 of the third quarter, Iowa State gets the football to start the second half. This is a big-time opportunity for the Cyclones to pull away.
Low snap. Rocco Becht in the pocket. Across the middle. And a beautiful pass. Complete inside the 10. Brahmer, the tight end. They love to use the tight ends here in Ames. It's going to be 1st and goal, Iowa State.
Yeah, this is Brahmer working on a corner, but keep an eye right here on this safety. This is Johnson. Watch how he works here. And that's when Becht knows that he can pump this football on this bang 8 to his tight end. As soon as that safety vacates that zone, that's just pitch and catch in the backyard.
Brahmer, a big target, 6'7". He just has to box out. A defensive back can be right on him, and he can make the catch anyway. Becht is going to keep it and get hit inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal coming up.
There is no school in the country that utilizes tight ends in a better way, in a more efficient way than the Iowa State Cyclones. It is so impressive what they do. You just said it, Flem. That was a cornerback covering a tight end, but it doesn't matter because the way Brahmer runs his route, uses his size and frame to shield off that defensive back.
Well, we went through 5 of them on their depth chart when we were talking to the Iowa State coaches. And we said, are there any others? Could we see any more?
Do you have receivers?
There was like a little hesitation. Oh, man. A walk-in for Carson Hansen. Touchdown, Cyclones. They catch, they block. The tight ends help lead the way, but Carson Hansen, the guy who hits pay dirt, 21-0 Iowa State.
Tell you what, Iowa State is hitting on all cylinders here in the first half. Offense, defense, special teams. Talking with Arizona head coach Brett Brennan this week, he said that this was a measuring stick game for his football program. He thought they were more talented. They had some great acquisitions in the portal. He thought they were bigger, more physical, and a tougher football team. But right now, Iowa State is saying different.
Measuring stick game. Right now, the Wildcats are definitely coming up short. Beautiful interception and return from Iowa State's defense that set up another efficient turn in the red zone with those tight ends leading the way. And the Cyclones are up big at home. Still September, but Iowa State's in the top 15. They're undefeated. They're playing really well here at home tonight. I think these fans here in Ames are dreaming about that college football playoff this year for the Cyclones as Arizona gets the ball back. Speaking of their fans, the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más Student Section of the Year. Who's going to take home the trophy this year? They have a lot of students here tonight inside this stadium.
What an atmosphere. Fantastic scene for college football. And now Noah Fifita needs to go against that crowd and somehow find a way to get some points and get his team into the end zone before the half, especially with Iowa State getting the ball to start the third quarter.
I mean, it feels like if Arizona can't get some points here, we know they're in trouble already. They're in big trouble if they can't get something out of this drive. Fifita throws middle, and that's caught by Hudson. Stops short of the 40, so a gain of 8 on first down. Wildcats are going to go quicker tempo.
Good start to the drive for Fifita. He just needs to take what the defense gives them as they play their zone, and when they play man, you got to hit your shots down the field.
Fifita acted like he was going to run. He throws it to his tight end Olsen for a first down gain along the sideline. What was the quote that Daggy said to us about his message to Fifita? Don't get frustrated playing against this defense. It can be frustrating. I'm sure he's getting frustrated.
Oh, absolutely. When Iowa State plays their zone, there's 8 guys dropping back into coverage on those zone plays. It is so tough for a quarterback to stay patient and just take what the defense gives you.
This time they rush him and he gets rid of the ball nicely, but the pass was not handled by Chris Hunter. He got his hands on it, couldn't squeeze it.
2 minutes. Timeout.
So it's incomplete. That's the 2-minute timeout. 22-0 Iowa State. Back right after this. College football. We've got 1:58 to go until halftime. 2nd and 10 Arizona on what feels like a gotta-have-it drive for the Wildcats. Fifita throws that one complete to the right sideline.
I want to go back just a couple of plays ago. We talk about all this zone defense that Iowa State plays, but when they play man, Noah Fifita needs to hit his shots downfield. If he puts this football out in front of his wide receiver and hits him in stride, you break one tackle, there's a chance you house call this play. Those are the throws Noah Fifita needs to make when Iowa State elects to play man coverage.
I mean, I think it's a good point because you've been saying all night they don't give you many opportunities. They have that shell. They make you take your checkdowns. You might get a few a game. You got to hit those.
Iowa State showing zone coverage.
They rush just 3. Fifita across the middle, and that pass is complete for an Arizona first down into Iowa State territory, down to the 45, caught by Wysong.
That's a big time catch by Wysong. He knows he's going to take a big hit after he catches this football, stays concentrated on the reception, and that is a big time pickup for the Wildcats.
Clock moving. Remember, Arizona has all 3 of their timeouts, so they should have plenty of time. Fifita going deep down the middle, and the pass is incomplete. He had Hudson. He had a stride plus on the defender Tayshawn James, but it's incomplete.
And we've talked about this tonight. Going back to the 23 season, these were the plays that Noah Fifita hit down the field. Last year, he was a 60% passer. He dropped 12 percentage points. And he's a sub 60% guy right now, and you see why. That is an open wide receiver in Chris Hudson that he needs to hit for a touchdown.
We compared these 2 quarterbacks at the start of the show, and Rocco Becht, he's made a couple beautiful deep ball passes. Monty back in the game. Fifita's going to keep it up the middle, big hole, and Noah Fifita gets another first down inside the 35.
It's a great job of Fifita recognizing the defense, flowing with the jet sweep. It opens up a gaping hole for the quarterback. The Wildcats are marching.
21 pass attempts, only 71 total yards for Fifita. He's missed those chances for the bigger plays. Throws right sideline. Phelps with the catch and steps out of bounds.
Really good job of Phelps to get that foot down inbounds, using his big frame to bring in that football. We've talked about how critical this drive is for Arizona. Down 22 points. Iowa State gets the football to start the third quarter. Noah Fifita needs to take advantage when Iowa State plays man coverage and find a way to get his offense in the end zone.
2nd down and 4. Wildcats have had some good drives in this game. They missed a field goal. They threw an interception. Fifita He's going to cut it upfield again. Take a hit inside the 25, and he got real close. They'll stop the clock and say first down. So Fifita got just enough.
I like the tempo that Arizona's playing with here. You don't want to give the football back to Iowa State with any time left in a perfect situation. You want to bleed as much clock as you can and score when this clock says zeros in a perfect world.
Now that clock moving again. And I think to your point, that's fine from the Wildcats' perspective with those 3 timeouts. Craig gets the handoff, had nowhere to go. Now you might have to think about using a timeout. They will. Another good tackle for Cooper Ebel.
Timeout, Arizona.
For Chris Hunter that came in through the offseason.
11th play of this drive out of the timeout. 2nd down and 9 with 46 seconds on the clock. Fifita, 4-man rush this time, steps up, throws across the middle, and the pass is caught. He threw it a little behind Hunter again, but Hunter was able to bring it in.
And there's the guy we were just talking about, Chris Hunter. This is someone that needs to step up big time for this offense. That was a big league catch. Another errant throw by Fifita. That was behind his target. Not an easy catch, but Hunter did a great job going down to the ground.
And just inside the 10 makes it 1st and goal. Not using one of those 2 timeouts. Clock moving. Fifita will throw to the end zone, and what an attempt and a catch. Touchdown, Chris Hansen. Well, back-to-back brilliant catches by the Arizona wide receivers that Brock was just talking about. Hudson from 9 yards out to put Arizona on the board.
Football on the money. Chris Hudson ran an excellent route.
Yeah, they had to have that one. Kick is up, and it is good. So Arizona with 22 seconds on the clock in the first half. They managed that beautifully. One of those 3 timeouts, they managed that about as well as you'll see a team at this level manage it. Kick into the end zone for a touchback.
About Arizona managing that situation, leaving only 22 seconds for this Iowa State offense.
Becht play fake, and he's going to go downfield deep into some coverage, incomplete. This microphone, and I think we now know what the message was. Guys, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, we got a good lead, and we get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Let's be smart.
Defense was pitching a shutout until the 22-second mark. What changed on that final drive for Arizona's offense?
Well, we got to play better pass defense. You know, they got a great quarterback. He made some great plays and really put themselves right back in the football game.
You get the ball first when you come out of the half. What's your message to the offense to build on this lead?
Well, we're going to have to do a great job. You know, I thought we were not as consistent as we needed to be in the first half. We're going to have to be better in the second.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Dave.
All right, Stormy, thank you very much. Matt Campbell and company heading into the locker room on ESPN. It's turned into just a beautiful night under the lights in Ames. White out in the stands. Cyclones and the Arizona Wildcats 22-7 as we get ready to start the 3rd quarter. Fleming, Brock Osweiler back with you, and the 7 for Arizona feels really significant. Great drive by them at the end of the half. They were getting run out of this building. Now I think they feel like they got a shot.
Certainly, and it was without a doubt a gotta-have-it drive there at the end of the 2nd quarter. If Arizona doesn't find a way to get points, they're essentially out of this game with Iowa State getting the ball here to start the 2nd half. But now they're right back in it. This is where they want to be. The question is, can Brent Brennan, Danny Gonzalez get this defensive unit for the Wildcats to go out here and get a big stop and allow Noah Fifita to try to cut it to a 1-possession game here in the 3rd quarter? Or does Rocco Becht drive this football down the field behind that big offensive line that really controlled the line of scrimmage?
More total yards than Iowa State does in this game. So we will see. Kickoff into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback for the Iowa State offense coming on the field.
Yeah, and they were really great in the first half, putting up 22 points. Just watch the accuracy here from Rocco Becht. This is in the 1st quarter. Man coverage. Sowell trying to push the football down the field. Drops the ball right into the breadbasket. This is something the Iowa State offense had not been doing very well with in the first 4 games of the season, using those wide receivers down the field. And then the big offensive line took over with running back Carson Hansen as well. A great mixture of plays in the first half, run pass by the Cyclones.
Hansen starts in the backfield. And Becht on the move will dump it to Burkle, one of his many tight ends, for a nice pickup on first down. Let's go down to Stormy.
And he said they started to do that on the final drive, need to carry that over, because he said with full confidence that he knows his team can come all the way back.
All right, thanks, Stormy. Look, and Stormy referenced earlier in our telecast about how Arizona was full of confidence coming into this game. And a lot of talk from Ben Brahmer was about, hey, we feel like we are massively improved this year. We're going to put that to a test on Saturday in Ames.
Yeah, and I think that test happens right here on this drive. Can this Arizona defense stop this Cyclones offense and get their football back to the offense?
Wow, threading the needle and now out into the open. Sowell again, another big play for him in the pass game, all the way down to the Arizona 10. Perfect pass from Rocco Becht, and it goes for 53 yards.
Just a basic little inside slant on their RPO play. Becht can hand this football off, but he sees a window in the zone defense. Sowell does a great job of turning a simple 5-yard pass into an explosive gain for Iowa State.
3 catches. He's got 127 yards in the game. Hansen with the carry and a gain of 5. On first down and goal, it'll be second and goal for the Cyclones.
Well, and what were we just talking about? Can this defense get the big stop that their football team needs? But you see what just happened. There's a reason why this Iowa State football team won 11 games a season ago, competed for a Big 12 championship. Right now, they are the tops of the Big 12, and Rocco Becht is coming out firing in the second half.
Those numbers from Sowell. He's got 127 yards. Iowa State as a team has 240. So those 3 chunk plays have been a huge part of their offense. Hansen straight ahead. Power running. Still going. Stretches and just stopped short. And he first made contact with a defender right near the line of scrimmage. He ends up getting 4 yards.
That's what he does, Flem. 6'2", 220 pounds. There can be no hole. There can be no yards to be had, and he's going to find a way to get you 2, 3, 4 yards. Just a physical back thumper downhill. He's had a fantastic career here for the Cyclones.
So now third and goal. Hansen already has a couple touchdowns in this game. Power formation for Iowa State. They give it to Hansen, and no, he did not get there. Iowa State says touchdown. No signal of that yet. Well, they're going to pull the pile apart and say, yeah, 4th and goal. He did not get it.
It was a really great job of Trice Smith, number 3 on the right side. He's at the top of your screen. He's in there making contact, as well as 43, Dalton Johnson, the strong safety. Great surge at the line of scrimmage to set up this 4th and goal play.
Looked to me like Matt Campbell was screaming at the officials, pointing up at the big video board. He thought his guy got in. He wanted a review. Instead, it's 4th and goal.
This is going to be QB sneak.
It is. The push. Touchdown. So the opening drive of this third quarter for Iowa State, and they get it in the end zone. I think Matt Campbell's still unhappy about why that third down run wasn't a touchdown. It took him 1 extra play.
That is what championship teams do. Going into halftime, Arizona felt like they had life. They had cut it to a 2-score game. Some momentum had gone their way. And Iowa State and Rocco Becht said, no, not so fast. Don't forget, we won 11 games a season ago. This is our home field. What a drive by that Iowa State offense.
And Chase Smith, the true freshman walk-on kicker, doing the kicking tonight, right up and good. Rocco Becht leads his team right down the field, 29-7. It's time for our drive recap, covered by Geico. Impressive drive for Iowa State.
Yeah, very impressive. Excellent start to the second half for Iowa State, especially Rocco Becht, just dealing early, getting the football out to his tight end, and then Sowell, his other playmakers, just a quick slant, and then punches it in on the QB sneak for his second touchdown of the night on the ground. Rocco Becht, one of those players that I just really feel like doesn't get the love nationally that he deserves. He's at 11 of 15 tonight for a $191. Just another excellent game by a great quarterback.
A lot of times it's just not all that flashy, but man, he's good. He's got to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Iowa State player down on the kick coverage. About the worst case scenario for them, the start of the second half on defense. Now let's see if the offense can respond. Mahdi gets the carry. Mahdi's been impressive in not that many chances. They haven't run the ball all that much tonight.
No, but when they have, he's been fantastic. I think he's getting 5-6 yards a clip for this Arizona offense, and
you see it there. I mean, that's a good run. He was pursued. He got away from the defender and gets a first down.
And I love that Arizona is staying with the ground game. I get it. You're down 22 points, but there is a ton of football to play. If you just start airing this football out right now, you're going to get a defensive front that's able to tee off on these offensive tackles. I love that Seth Agee is sticking with the run game here.
Well, that's not good news for the Cyclones. That's the big orange, the big citrus. His last name is Orange, Dominic Orange. The senior from Kansas City, the big smile, big personality, one of the leaders on this team. A guy who's got a big future ahead of him.
For what they invested in him.
Yeah, really cool story. When we talked with John Haycock this week, he just mentioned how proud he is of the person that the big citrus has become.
Olsen, the tight end, catch on the run outside the 40. Another Iowa State player banged up after putting a hit on Olsen. That's Kyjon Cummings-Coleman.
Officials timeout for an injury to a defensive
That's
player.
3 straight plays where an Iowa State player's been hurt. Just a freshman. I think he's got a big future ahead of him. We'll see if Noah Fifita and company look to take advantage of maybe a thinner secondary. Handoff straight ahead and a good tackle. That was Marcus Neal, one of the healthy starters remaining on the field. Gain of just 2.
Nobody accounted for Marcus Neal in the run blocking scheme. Just came completely free off the edge of the defense to force the 3rd and short for Arizona.
I would think, Brock, at this point of the game, we're down 29-7. You're close to midfield. You got 2 plays to get 2 yards.
It's close. You know, you have to assume in a lot of ways it's 4-down territory. I do think if you don't get it, you do strongly have to consider punching the football away. Remember, Noah Fifita using his legs more this season. We'll see if Iowa State accounts for that.
He throws, and that one is caught, so they won't have to make the no. The ball ultimately came out, according to the Iowa State defensive players. No real signal from the officials. Chris Hunter, and they're going to say catch. Arizona's going to try to get to the line very quickly and get a play snapped. First down, right around midfield. And they couldn't get it snapped. Well, they just stood there, snapped the ball.
Yeah, they had the right idea. They're trying to snap that football.
Previous play is under review. Ruling on the field was a catch.
You want to do everything you can to avoid that replay. You have the first down. Just get the football snapped and hand it off and move on to take this out of the officials' hands. Now you have to remember, with a catch, you have to maintain complete and continuous control through the reception. Try to pin Iowa State.
Review, the receiver never controlled the ball before it hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It will be 4th down from the previous spot.
If he punts it, it's because he trusts his defense to get a stop and get good field position for his offense.
Well, it looks to me like his quarterback is coming out on the field.
That's right. Here we go.
So I think that does tell you about his impression of the rest of this game. Arizona's been perfect on 4th down. This is a big one. Mahdi sprints out wide left. Iowa State showing pressure, and they bring some pressure. Ball knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Batted down, incomplete. I think it was Marcus Neal who got a hand on it, and Arizona turns it over on downs.
What a great play by Marcus Neal. Blitzing from his nickel position at the top of your screen, does a great job getting a hand on that football. And when we come back, Iowa State football.
Goes these days of the Big 12. It's a lot of teams. It's a lot of good teams. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 ranked teams. One of the unranked teams is the one that's actually 2-0 in conference play. That's the Sun Devils of ASU.
Yeah, big win over TCU last night at home. But when you look at this, it is just too early to get into the predictions of what's going to happen in the Big 12. I truly believe there's 6 to 7 teams that have a chance to win a conference championship this year. And if you look back to last year, it really came down to the final week of the season. There was multiple teams that had a chance to play for it in Arlington, and I think we're in for that again.
All right, you read my mind. I was going to ask you, realistically, how many of those teams you think could emerge as the champion of the Big 12?
That's right where I'm at. It's 6 to 7 in my eyes, and once again, as we start this conference slate and we get into mid-October and later in October, the picture's really going to clear up. But at this point in time, and I said this in the preseason, I'm a firm believer there's a good half-dozen teams. And that just says to the strength of this conference and how good a football you see week in and week out being played.
After the turnover on downs, a loss of 2. Now a handoff to a tight end who's going to throw to a wide-open receiver. Down to the 1. Eskildsen caught it. Brahmer, the tight end, threw it. It's 1st and goal, and we got smiles all the way around Eskildsen. Can't believe he didn't get in.
Well, you gotta love a little trickery getting drawn up at midfield. And how about that throw by Brahmer? Just a fantastic throw by the tight end. Defense completely bit on the speed sweep to the tight end, and here goes Rocco Becht for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the night.
No doubt about that one there. Touchdown Iowa State. It's 35 to 7. Rocco's been rushing him in. As Brock just said, his 3rd of the night. I mean, they use their tight ends in every which way here in Ames, including throwing the ball down the field.
It is so impressive. They're highly involved in the run game, the pass game. We've seen them make plays there tonight and all season long. And now they're throwing explosive plays down the field. What a fun team to watch.
Extra point, good again from Chase Smith. That was a cool play.
It was a really fun play. And you're going to see the big 6'7", 255-pound tight end. He's right here. He's going to get the ball in the speed sweep and watch the defense just bite up. And that's what allows Eskildsen to get behind the defense for the explosive play. Just beautiful execution.
Arizona's 21 is now wearing number 37.
Taylor Mauser diving deep into the playbook on that one. Has called an excellent night. I think the game that he has called between balancing the pass game, run game, he's kept Arizona on their heels all night long. And this has just been an offensive clinic against a defense for Arizona coming into this game. We're tops in the country in the majority of categories, and Iowa State is having something to say about that tonight. Kudos to Taylor Mauser and the rest of the offense.
Under Matt Campbell, so much of the identity of this program has been complementary football and solid, suffocating defense. They might have their most explosive offense they've had.
They're making a statement. And don't forget, this is an Iowa State football team that lost 2 receivers in the NFL draft. There was a lot of questions what this offense would be this year. And right now, it's looking mightily strong.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, you guys talk about how much this offensive coordinator, Taylor Mauser, loves the tight end position. He loves it so much, guys. He has it tattooed on his body. He and the whole tight end room, after their bowl win last year against Miami, agreed to get TE inked on their right ring fingers. Ben Brahmer, who just had made that big pass, wouldn't say whose idea it was, but that they all feel a little closer bond in the tight end room from it. And you can't really tell in the photo that we have, but Mauser's tattoo is a little bit more professionally done. I guess he didn't want to go to the back alley in Orlando that some of the players did.
How great is that?
But by the way, I don't blame Taylor. Yeah, a post-bowl game in the fog of a victory. Let's go at 2 a.m. and get a tattoo in Orlando. I'll come home and get mine.
You know, just 34 years old, and talking to him this week, talking to his players this week, you can just tell how much his players love playing for him, how much fun he's having calling plays and having a guy like Rocco Becht be a signal caller. This is an offense that's really dialed in right now.
He is also the tight ends coach. I mean, we've said that a bunch of times. I think Iowa State fans know that. Fifita gets hit and flings it away. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. 36-7. Man, we still have 7:35 to go in the third quarter. Arizona scored that touchdown at the end of the first half to make it 22-7. Felt like they got back in the game.
Yeah, we really thought they were. We thought Arizona was gaining some momentum, but you have to go back to what we said in the opening statement of this telecast. You know, this was a measuring stick for both teams. You look at Iowa State, they had some tough, gritty wins. They hadn't really blown anybody out this year. Arizona 3-0, thinking they're a better football team. Well, tonight, Iowa State is making a big statement.
The Big Citrus is back in the game. That's good news for the Cyclones. Fifita wide open across the middle, and that receiver down at about the 32. Hudson again, who took a big hit at the end of that, almost as he went into a slide. He has the one touchdown catch for the Wildcats. He is going to get up.
Show you this. This is a really good concept by Seth Dagey. Watch this switch release by the wide receivers, and what that does is it puts the middle of field safety in conflict. He doesn't know who to cover, and you get a wide open target down the field for the Wildcats. Really good play design by Seth Dagey.
This was the hit as he sort of stumbled down. Marcus Neal.
Through the review, there is no targeting.
Cincinnati today went on the road and beat Kansas.
Yeah, they're playing really good football right now.
Now, that is not a gimme game for a really good Iowa State team. Pass completed to Trice Spivey from Fifita. Actually, that was Mizell, the freshman Isaiah Mizell.
At this point.
Second down and 3 for the Wildcats. Fifita, a little pump fake. He'll check it down short, and a big hit in the open field. Monty made the catch, but for a very short gain. That was Trey Bell. And still a quarter and a half to play. Handoff. Monty breaks one tackle, gets inside the 20. Another injury, and it's the Big Citrus again. I don't know if this is the same thing or something different. It's worth just emphasizing, he thought all that weight he gained during COVID was going to cost him his whole football career. Like, did I blow? He was an extremely highly recruited player out of high school. And then when his body changed, the world was turned upside down, and different people handled it different ways. And but, you know, he sort of struggled to keep his weight down. He thought he might have blown his whole opportunity.
He did, but Matt Campbell honored the scholarship offer that he made to him, and in return, when these past couple off seasons, when he's had opportunities to leave to go to other schools, he stayed loyal to Iowa State and Matt Campbell.
Another carry on second down. That's Quincy Craig this time. He gets stopped at about the 17-yard line. Just a couple of yards. Third down coming up for the Wildcats. There's the Big Citrus into the tent.
Boy, if I'm Noah Fifita right now, I'm trying to get this football to Chris Hudson. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen. He did some good things for this offense in the first half. Let's see if he can make another play here on a critical third down.
There he is. Fifita. A little fake now across the middle, and he finds a man open. That's an Arizona first down. It'll be first and goal. That is Trice Spivey with the catch. Looking left. He's going to throw it toward the back corner of the end zone, incomplete. Good coverage intended for Burnett, the tight end. That's Carson Van Dinter in coverage. He talk about some of the injuries in the secondary, going a little deeper into their depth chart.
Redshirt freshman from Wisconsin, really good size, 6'3", 210 pounds. You're right, Flem. They're starting to get into the depth of the secondary for the Cyclones with all these injuries.
10th play of the drive here for Arizona, and there's no settling for a field goal at this point of the game. Down big. Again, all kinds of time for Fifita. Now scrambling, looking to run. He changes his mind, throws right to the pylon. It's caught, and Hudson gets shoved out of bounds short of the goal line, but it is a catch down to the 1.
How about that catch by Hudson? Having himself a ball game tonight. Great job by Fifita staying alive. Look at that accurate throw. You can clearly see he's short of the goal line, but nevertheless, great throw and catch on the run by the Wildcats.
Feet were in the end zone. Ball just wasn't there.
That's right. Ball has to cross the plane of the goal line.
3rd and goal. Arizona.
Two tight end set for Arizona. We'll see if they use some hard play action here.
Handoff and swallowed up. Did not get there. Monty gets stopped at the 1. Now it's 4th and goal. That's Ike Ezeagu made the tackle.
How does Arizona get this football into the end zone? I'd love to see Noah Fifita get outside the pocket so he has a run-pass option here on this 4th down play.
He rolls. He throws. Caught! Touchdown! It's exactly what they did. And Noah Fifita with a perfect delivery to Trey Spivey. And Arizona cashes in a long, impressive drive. It took them a while, but they got in the end zone. It's 36-13.
I love that Seth Dagey got his quarterback outside the pocket, and this is a really good concept. Watch what they do here and how the defense loses track of Spivey at that 2nd level of the end zone. It's kind of working like a little mesh play with the defensive backs. You have to remember, they've lost a couple starters. That's Iowa State in their secondary. And there you have it, a wide open wide receiver for Arizona.
Salgado Medina, the kicker. Extra point up and good. Stormy Bonatoni, Jerry McGinn is our rules expert. Prime time under the lights. White out in the stands in Ames. 36-14 Iowa State. And after that touchback, Iowa State's offense coming back on the field. Let's check in studio again with Matt Berry.
Look at the big fella rolling.
Oh, Matt, that's one of the best all-state good hands we've ever had from you. Oh, that was pretty impressive.
I love it when the big guy gets an opportunity to handle the football.
Well, we had a tight end throw for a long gain here in this game. Iowa State. Sama got the carry on 1st down here. Cyclones get the ball back after giving up the touchdown. And we're still in the 3rd quarter. This game's not totally put to bed yet. But Arizona's defense, they need to come up with a big play. Either a quick stop or a turnover or something. Becht throws. He's got a man wide open. And a turn up field for an Iowa State 1st down. That's Gabe Burkle back healthy this week. And they've used him quite a bit.
Great to have him back in the lineup if you're an Iowa State fan. Missed the game a week ago, as you mentioned, prior to the bye against Arkansas State. Very dynamic player at 6'6", 255 pounds. He can do a lot for this offense.
Sama trying to turn that corner with his speed. He has a lot of speed. Nice game. Dansby shoved him out of bounds, but that's 8 more yards for Iowa State.
And every 1st down that Iowa State gets, it just gets more and more difficult for this Arizona football team. You mentioned it a minute ago, Flem. They're not out of this. They're down 3 possessions. They have a chance, but it has to happen on this drive. They got to get a stop quick.
Yeah, isn't it funny how this sport can be? The total yardage is real close. The 1st downs, Arizona has the advantage. Time of possession, Arizona has the advantage. They've run for more yards per carry than Iowa State has. And yet the Cyclones have controlled this game almost from start to finish. Sama gets another Iowa State 1st down right to midfield and just across midfield.
The box score doesn't always tell the full story of how a football game plays out. You know, you think about Iowa State. Okay, yes, they have 36 points. But like you're talking about why is what happening in Iowa State. They've had so many short fields tonight. They've done a great job, complimentary football, playing special teams, pinning Arizona back, getting short fields. This is a must-stop situation for Arizona. They have to find a way to get this Cyclones offense off schedule here and the ball back to Noah Fifita.
Already to midfield, Iowa State letting some of that clock burn off. Sama in the backfield. Rocco Becht hands it off, and Sama cuts it back left. Takes a big hit, but more running room. Trayden Stukes made the tackle.
This is such a veteran and experienced offensive line for Iowa State, and you see what they're doing here as we wind down towards the end of the third quarter. They're just asserting their will on this Arizona defensive front. This is a big physical offensive line, and they're going to wear you down over the course of a game, and it's starting to take a toll on this Arizona defense.
All those tight ends shift to the right side under center, and Becht is going to stand up, and with that difference between game clock and play clock, I think he's just going to let the third quarter wind down.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Shorten the game when you're up 36-14. That seems like a smart plan. Just a very efficient night for the Cyclones, doing a lot of things right in front of a big crowd. The whiteout, the students here in big numbers. 14. Arizona's defense just desperately in need of a stop. Rocco Becht hands the ball off, and his tailback Sama did get stuffed there on that play.
A teammate of mine in Denver.
You think he's watching us tonight?
I don't know. I might have to shoot him a text. Say you're on the big screen tonight.
Becht scrambles and went into the slide. They're going to spot him a little short. I don't blame him for going into that slide, but they'll say 4th down and a yard coming up. All right, that ruins the whole graphic. He just ran for positive yardage.
Hey, they got the goal line QB sneak figured out, no doubt about it.
That was good timing, by the way, by our production crew to get that graphic in before he scrambled for 3 yards. Matt Campbell says, yeah, he was a little short.
QB sneak coming.
Here we go. Add another yard to the total. He got it. 1st down, Iowa State.
A yard in a cloud of dust.
So let's get that number updated. 7 carries and what do we think? 6 carries, I guess. No. -2 yards maybe total.
But all that matters is those 3 touchdowns. It's now or never for this Arizona defense. It is get a stop here. Do not allow Iowa State to get into field goal range. Well, I think the nail's in the coffin.
Now a throw knocked away. Wow, he had a man. Dominic Overby had a step and a nice play on the ball.
That was a really good play by Riley Wilson. He's made a couple good plays for this Arizona football team tonight. Number 16. Well, as I say that, that looks like a pure drop right there by Overby. Looked like Wilson got a hand on it, but on second glance, that's just a pure drop.
Yeah, he sold me that he knocked it down. So the clock stops, 13-12 to go. Becht will pitch it. Sama looking for a crease. Takes a hit and gets stopped by Dansby and company. Only a yard to bring up 3rd down, where if Arizona has any pulse, any chance of this game, they got to stop them right now.
Yeah, and Iowa State, they're in a really strange spot here with their 2 main kickers on the bench with injuries. They have a true freshman kicker, Chase Smith, in the lineup tonight. His field goal range is the 27-yard line. So I have to assume for Iowa State at this point in the field, this is 4-down territory. Let's see if they can get half back and make this thing a 4th and manageable situation.
Becht in the shotgun. Play fake. Pressure comes. Becht is going to get sacked. Penalty flag thrown. I'm assuming that's holding. And Rocco is a little slow to get up. Arizona brought pressure, and that worked. That's Riley Wilson again making another play to accept or decline.
Offense number 75. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Patterson back standing around the 10. Arizona, the problem for the Wildcats is that was 11 plays, a total of 29 yards. 11 plays and almost 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, melted quite a bit of clock.
Fair catch right at the 5-yard line. Rocco Becht took. We mentioned he got up a little slowly. Watch the end of the play. Maybe head sort of snap back onto the turf. Maybe talking to one of the Iowa State trainers. And then after about a minute of that conversation, went into that tent.
And I can tell you as a former quarterback, that's a scary scene there if you're an Iowa State fan. As a quarterback, it's usually the hits like that where your head kind of bounces off the ground that actually hurt more than when you take the big hit by a defensive lineman or a linebacker that's coming in and hitting you. You really hope he's going to be okay.
Arizona, meanwhile, backed up deep in their own territory at the 5, needing to go and go now. Short pass right flat. And the tight end Olsen out of bounds. Let's go down to Stormy.
Yeah, guys, Becht came out of the tent after what looked to be some neck mobility, as well as those standard concussion tests you see trainers do when they suspect anything. He came out, a teammate asked him if he's okay. He said he's good, and then went up to a bunch of his offensive teammates and was dapping him up, giving high fives. So I think he's okay.
Now, Stormy, is there anything to the fact that as we're looking at him right now, he doesn't have his helmet with him? You think that means anything?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Second down, Arizona. Fifita is going down the right sideline, trying to back shoulder throw. Great effort by Carson Hansen. He caught it, but he's out of bounds. Now 3rd and 3 coming for Arizona.
This was really close to being a catch. Keep an eye.
So he didn't actually finish the catch. Out of bounds without control of the ball. 3rd and 3.
Iowa State showing man coverage.
Fifita dancing around, dumps it down to Mahdi. Tried to cut middle, got knocked backwards. And he's well short by, I think, 2 or 3 yards.
And that's what makes this 3-3-5 defense so difficult. Pre-snap, you're getting a man indicator, but then at the snap of the ball, Iowa State plays their traditional zone coverage. There's just nowhere to go with the football down the field for Fifita. And what do you know? John Haycock, once again, and his defense find a way to get off the field.
And I understand why you do it, but you're down 36-14 with under 11 minutes to go. You punt the ball here, you're basically saying we're not winning this game.
Yeah, the white flag is in the air.
Pressure on that punt. Fair catch signal at about the 41-yard line. So Iowa State's defense pulls it down.
Oh, good point. Good point. Okay, I said FBS 136. Good point. Cuts him in half.
Rocco Becht still in the game, and another big play. Chase Sowell having a coming out party here tonight. A talented receiver. Immediately into Arizona territory.
Yeah, and coming into this game, all the talk about Iowa State's offense was, okay, we know the offensive line's great. We know the tight ends are great. We know who the quarterback is. Who's going to step up in the receiver room? And Sowell, I believe, has answered that call. He's had a monster night. 4 catches, 147 yards.
Yeah, no kidding. He looks like a playmaker on the outside. They've told us he's a talented young man. Trying to get up to speed with the playbook and learn the offense, feel comfortable, get in sync with his quarterback.
And he's got big play threat written all over him. A season ago at East Carolina, averaged just under 20 yards per reception, which was top 10 in college football. And he's showing off his talents tonight.
Sama in the backfield. Iowa State's going to be very content to let some clock wind down. Becht handed it off to Sama. Straight ahead run on 2nd down. Stop for no gain. All right, 19-23 for Vanderbilt. You know what? I don't think Vanderbilt's going to win the SEC this year, but they're pretty darn good.
Well, don't say that to Diego Pavia.
A wide open Hansen along the left sideline. Yeah, if he's listening, he's saying, Fleming, I'm going to prove you wrong. He likes when people doubt what he can do. Big play in the pass game, 22 more yards for Iowa State.
Well, this is man coverage by Arizona. Somebody needs to account for the running back. Nobody does, which is why he is wide open outside to the flat for an easy pickup for the Cyclones.
Trying to just officially put this game away. When Arizona punted the ball back, in my mind, that put the game away.
Yeah, it really did. Down 3 possessions. Clock's rolling.
2 tight ends in motion. I mean, because you know with Iowa State, no matter what, you can stop them. They're still going to take a few minutes off the clock. Sama will stay in bounds. Clock continues to roll. Iowa State is. I mean, it is. Look, they've had tough conference competition, but at some point under Matt Campbell, you figure they're going to break that drought. 19-12.
Well, This year just might be the year for Iowa State. They have a lot of things going for themselves. Rocco Becht, that man right there on your screen. When he's your quarterback, good things are going to happen. You see the talent at wide receiver. We've talked about the tight end room. You've seen the performance by the defense. This is a very talented football team across the board. If they can stay healthy, they're going to make a run at the Big 12 title.
Rolling right, Becht gets away. Still looking downfield, and it's intercepted. Intercepted. Well, that's a mistake from the veteran quarterback. Trayden Stukes, first of all, made a great play to pick that one off. Now you can feel how stunned everybody is here with that one, and Rocco is not happy.
Rocco Becht had played nearly a perfect game till that point. It's just a football that he needs to
play on ESPN News. The other big news from that game, aside from Ralphie, was that Caden Salter played like the guy that Colorado thought they were getting out of the transfer portal, their quarterback.
Yes, he did. Caden Salter looked fantastic a week ago. I'm really anxious to see how he performs against an elite BYU defense tonight.
That'd be a good test. BYU's defense is really good, but Colorado showed some spunk last week after kind of an indifferent first 3 games of the year.
A couple good completions to start the drive for Noah Fifita, coming out slinging here.
Under 7 minutes to go. Fifita fits that one in there along the sideline to Luke Wysong. Arizona trying to go as fast as they possibly can.
Never say never. If they're able to get a quick score, onside kick, I mean, I get it. Down 3 possessions, you need a lot of things to go your way, but this drive is off to a great start.
Vincent Craig in the backfield with Fifita helped pick up the pressure, and another completion. This time to Chris Hunter inside the 25. Another Arizona first down.
Boy, Arizona playing with some really good tempo. Noah Fifita showing the leadership and composure that he has, getting his guys lined up, snapping this ball as quick as he can.
They've gone 59 yards already in just 4 plays. Again, the pressure picked up. He's got a man, and it's dropped. And maybe not a perfect pass. Chris Hunter, though, had a chance for the catch, incomplete.
That was a really good throw. Unfortunately, his wide receiver Dominic Overby stumbles out of his break and is not able to recover. He's basically tripping and going to the ground when that football hits his chest. Really, excuse me, that's Hunter. What a tough break for Arizona.
Yeah, I think that little stumble just was the difference there. 2nd and 10. 3-man rush. Fifita dumps it short. Javen Watley inside the 20. 6 more yards. Clock continues to wind.
Fifita needs to be prepared for Iowa State to bring pressure here. It's 3rd down. It's what they've done all night long. Where is he going to go with this football quickly against pressure?
Showing pressure, that's for sure. And they bring pressure. Fifita throws quickly, and it's intercepted. Jamison Patton's had a huge game. 2nd interception for the Cyclones. Right at the goal line, he picks it off. And that'll do it for this one. Iowa State, another stand down near the goal line.
Well, just an unfortunate break for Noah Fifita and his offense. We mentioned it. Iowa State's going to bring in all-out pressure. There's going to be 2 guys that come on block. There's an opportunity to get a completion here and maybe even a touchdown. Unfortunately, the football is just behind Javen Watley. And Jamison Patton makes an excellent play to cap a fantastic night and game that he's had.
He was everywhere early. Remember, he was making tackles, knocking balls down. Jontez Williams had the interception that was a spectacular play. Those 2 have played really well. Marcus Neal, some big tackles from the secondary.
Really nice game out of Patton.
Under 5.5 to go. And the only objective, I think, here for the Cyclones is just to work the clock. No gain on first down.
You know, and that just seems to be, you know, when we talk about Noah Fifita, and when we talked about it in the Open tonight, when you go back to the 23 season, he was elite. I really thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, set multiple school records, led his team to 10 wins, but then last season fell off. And then tonight, there's been multiple examples where there's receivers open. Whether there's pressure or not, those are throws that he made 2 seasons ago. And for whatever reason, he's just not able to connect on those same throws.
Second interception tonight. It's a very fair, valid point. That one straight ahead run, and Sama nowhere to go. So now 3rd down coming up. BYU Colorado next. Iowa State has to play both those teams. They get BYU at home. They go to Boulder in a couple weeks after they go to Cincinnati next week. So back-to-back conference road games for Iowa State. Those will both be tests for sure.
Absolutely.
Arizona State will come here. TCU, or actually Arizona State comes here. TCU hosts Iowa State.
You know, and I just think in the Big 12, you truly have to take it week to week. You know, you mentioned going on the road at Cincinnati, Nippert Stadium. They're going to be alive and well, ready to rock. That's going to be a challenge for Iowa State. Then, like you said, right after that, you go on the road to Colorado, and we know what that atmosphere is like with Deion Sanders.
Timeout.
It's the head coach up there in Boulder.
The first of the half.
Iowa State took the play clock all the way down and then calls a timeout.
Those are 3 of the biggest things, in my opinion, that you need to do as a quarterback. He makes his teammates better. He's a fantastic leader. Deserves a lot more credit for what he's done here at Iowa State.
It looked like a designed run against the blitz, and he takes a hit at the 10-yard line. So it'll be 4th down. Arizona's going to use a timeout. Well, one thing is the streak, I think, is coming to an end tonight unless something crazy happens. He's rushed for 3 touchdowns. But Rocco Becht, 22 straight games with at least 1 passing touchdown. Longest active streak in FBS. That seems likely to end tonight.
You know what? And if you talk to Rocco Becht about that, I don't think he cares. The only thing he cares about is winning football games for this program. And I think that's what makes that young man so special. You see him visiting with his head coach, Matt Campbell. This kid's a winner. And he's been a pillar of consistency since he took over this starting role 3 years ago. And all he does is win ball games.
I mean, so many parallels with Brock Purdy, who was here before Rocco Becht, a guy who put in the time, tons of experience. Maybe at first wasn't so spectacular, piling up huge numbers in this system, just winning a lot of games, coming through in the clutch.
That's it. And that's what he does. You go back to a season ago, you combine last year and this year, he's 8-1 in 1-score games. And then when you get into his 4th quarter comebacks, I mean, it's really off the charts, super impressive.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a coincidence. Arizona gets the ball back. Let's check in studio once again with Matt Berry.
Happy Valley.
But that game not over.
It's just so great that conference play is alive and well right now.
And Oregon goes to the Big Ten, and they start playing Big Ten football. Run the ball. Fifita gets swallowed up. Man, he had nowhere to go. The Iowa State defense trying to put an end to this one.
Well, you have the offensive line sliding to the right with the center. Iowa State brings 3 defenders to the left side. 1 more than Arizona can block. That's an easy sack for the Cyclones.
Fifita threw that one into traffic, knocked down, incomplete. Now Jontez Williams, after making that play, he's another really important player for Iowa State, and he's hurt. Well, this could be a very costly win for Iowa State in one particular position group. Obviously hurting.
That's a scary scene for Iowa State. You're already down 1 starting corner. Who knows what's going to happen with Williams now getting rolled up on as they head into the next week's matchup on the road with Cincinnati.
Yeah,
this is a depleted secondary at this point.
Just get this game over with. Stormy, you got more down there?
Yeah, to go further on that secondary. Kyjon Cummins-Coleman, who left the game earlier, he came back out in street clothes for a moment, had his right arm in a sling under a hoodie, and ended up going back to the locker room again. And Dominique Orange, their defensive lineman, he went to the medical tent a couple times in the third quarter. And since he's been back out here on the sideline, like, he was on the bike, tears in his eyes a couple of times, but nothing physically clear that I could tell was wrong with him.
Fifita throws, and that pass caught, but the tackle short of the first down marker. So it's 4th down. Final 3 minutes of this game. There's the big citrus with the tie. He does. He looks pretty emotional there.
This was a defense that was just ravaged with injuries this season ago. It was a near miracle that the defense played as well as they did, got their team in the Big 12 title. You have to hope some of these big-time starters we've seen go down tonight get healthy.
You hate to read into it, but you got a guy who's that talented who's tearing up on the sideline. That just fingers crossed for him. First down, Arizona. No, they didn't get the first down. I beg your pardon. That tackle was short. They needed to get to the 48. Wadley got tackled at midfield, so that's not enough. That's turnover on downs. Probably is the real backup if something really happened to Rocco Becht. I think they probably go with the freshman. Moberly is going to carry the ball here. There's a nice run by him. Still going, in fact. He gets enough for the first down. Nice effort. Got 11 yards. One of their backup quarterbacks in the game, Connor Moberly. Just trying to finish this one out. 1st and 10, Cyclones. Very impressive team right now. Win against Kansas State in Ireland. Win against their rivals. Not easy to do on the road in Iowa City. Check that. Iowa State beat Iowa here in Ames. Why is Arizona using a timeout?
I don't really have a good answer for you there, Flip.
30 seconds in length.
Tied for the Broncos in the early season with big expectations. Quarterback keeper and a first down. Maybe that will keep Arizona from using their final timeout. Giants need a boost.
Oh, they need a spark in a big way. Got a lot of good pieces. They've just yet to put it together.
Quarterback play has been lacking. Another quarterback keeper on first down. Well, Iowa State and now Arizona uses its final timeout. It's just, I don't blame Iowa State fans for booing. What do you do? Gives us a chance to get an update with Matt Berry in studio.
We'll move it here to ESPN when Arizona and Iowa State and Arizona finally realizes the game's over.
We don't know when that's actually going to happen, Matt, but sometime soon, perhaps. The little ones don't want to go home.
Oh, they're having fun. Mom and Dad, let's go get some more candy.
A little more kettle corn before the game's over.
Let's get back to the concession stand.
2nd down and 7. Not a lot of nuance as to what's going on here. No more timeouts for the Wildcats. So Iowa State's going to be 5-0 for the 2nd straight year. If you heard Stanford Steve talking about it, he picked this game on game day this morning. And part of his reason was Iowa State's track record under the lights in this stadium. This will be their 10th straight win for a home night game. They love playing at night here in Ames. Matt Campbell's climbing up the list of all-time Big 12 wins as a head coach. It's a distinguished list of great coaches. He's moving into the top 5 in the history of this league. At a place where for a long, long time, many years, many decades, really, they had a hard time winning games. Not anymore. A throw, maybe. Threw it away to stop the clock.
Let's look at that as you're talking about as he's approaching the top 5. Look at this. Bob Stoops at the top. Bill Snyder, Mike Gundy, Mac Brown, Mike Leach, Garrett Hinkle. Those are big-time names.
Big time.
Guys that had fantastic careers, built programs, and Matt Campbell, he's right there with them.
He's past Gary Patterson. Now some of Gary's wins came not in the Big 12. But still, now Iowa State is going to kick a field goal. This is the first career attempt for Chase Smith. So maybe Matt Campbell's just figuring, hey, this is good practice for my young kicker if I need him. And guess what? Practice makes perfect. Up and through. Never a doubt. And I think, get the kid a chance to kick in case your top place kicker is going to be hurt for a little longer. Good operation, wasn't it?
Great first field goal make in college football, right down the middle for Smith. Excellent snap, hold, and execution.
The walk-on true freshman from Eldridge, Iowa. And I don't know if it was really part of it, but it also is like, okay, you're going to call timeouts on the other side. We're going to kick a field goal.
I mean, it very well could be. And this is going to be a big storyline for Iowa State fans to follow. The health of your starting kicker. I mean, he's got a big-time leg. You know how talented he is. He's won a lot of games for you. He's made 60-plus yarders, setting school records. But as you get into conference play, is he back or is Smith going to be the guy?
Yeah, there's Kyle Conrady. They don't think he's out for the year. He's got the jersey on at least, not the shoulder pads. He's walking around, so they say not out for the year. He is a big part. The way they play here, and you figure you get into the late months of the college football season and the weather in Ames, you play a certain style of game, having a kicker like him is really important.
He's a big league kicker. He's been clutch in so many big-time moments. Just ask Iowa fans over the last couple of years. They're tired of seeing him hit game winners.
You said it. He's kicked a 63-yarder in his career. 43 seconds left to go. So Iowa State's schedule, you got a couple road games in a row next week on ESPN2. Sneaky game. I mean, Cincinnati, not much expectation coming into this year. They went to Kansas and won, at Colorado, at TCU, at Oklahoma State, their remaining road games.
I mean, with all due respect to Oklahoma State, outside of that game, that is a tough stretch of conference football. If Iowa State is going to get themselves back to the Big 12 title in Arlington, they're certainly going to go earn it, and we're going to find out in the next 2 months.
Yeah, and even in those next 2 games, the next 2 weeks at Cincinnati, at Colorado, if you can find a way to win both those games with the home heavy schedule late in conference play, Iowa State's going to be in a good position.
I agree. You know, and tonight this was a great, first step in conference play. I know week 1 you played Kansas State, you got that win, that was huge. But this really feels like the beginning of conference play. This was a big get. You had to win this game at home. Whiteout, sold out stadium, because like you just said, Flem, you have 2 good challenges on the road the next 2 weeks.
The coaches are headed out to midfield. The referees initially stopped those 2, but they'll give the handshakes and say this game is now over.
How about them Cyclones? Yeah! Damn right, baby.